How's it going, folks? Welcome to the video. Today's background noise brought to you by some tiny annoying dog a few houses away, but not by a fan because it's actually kind of cold today, isn't it?
Yep.
It's a little cold today.
7 degrees Celsius.
Only 27 degrees. And we don't need a fan, so that's good. That's a little bit, Anyway, let's get into the topic. So Day and I haven't really ever talked about this. How our parents explain sex to us. We come from kind of different cultures.
Yep.
And I come from Ireland. Ireland is stereotypically very Catholic, quite staunch, quite conservative when it comes to sex and sex-related topics and stuff like that. But really, I feel like we talk about it the same amount as, most Western countries like America and stuff like that. However, you come from a more conservative background, right?
Yeah, very conservative. Because, as you know, guys, here in the Philippines, like 90% are Catholics, so,
Yeah.
we have our beliefs.
So I want to see how maybe our parents approached it differently, because my dad really freaked me out about sex when I was really young, when he just started, give me the talk, Okay, so let's do it. Okay, so I don't remember what age I was exactly, but I remember my mom and my dad sat me down on the couch during the day.
Really?
One summer morning, and they were like, okay, it's time to tell you where babies came from and stuff like that.
They really sat you on the couch.
Yeah, on the couch, we're having a regular family chat, but this one was about, the birds and the bees, as it were.
Oh, okay.
And so I remember my dad telling me, not necessarily about how babies are made and stuff like that, but about hitting puberty. And about becoming aware of the opposite sex, and becoming aroused and what being aroused was, having an erection, ejaculation, and stuff like that. And I remember my dad just freaked me out. He said this, right? He said, you'll find girls very exciting. Maybe one day you'll be walking in the street, right? And a girl will walk past you in a skirt, and some wind will blow her dress up, and you'll see her underwear, and then you'll get this feeling in your pants, and you might take down your pants, and you'll see this white stuff coming out of your penis.
What?
Exactly! And I was like, what? I can't even control this? This is terrifying. What? That was so scary because it made me full sure that I would just be spontaneously getting off in public and be unable to control it and be very ashamed of it and stuff like that. And as you know, it's not like that. Dad, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? Oh my god.
That's a very bad example.
Yeah.
That's a very bad explanation of...
He just made me so full sure that this whole experience of growing up and achieving sexual maturity would just be something weird and spontaneous and out of your control and really exaggerated and kind of frankly disgusting. Never look up a girl's skirt and never take your pants down in public, okay? Advice. But actually after that, I'm pretty sure my parents left the discussion there, and I had, when I was 12 years old, maybe 11, a class in school where we talked about it, from a more scientific aspect and stuff like that, and it was interesting. I think we all needed it. We were very immature about it as kids and stuff like that. We couldn't hear the word penis or something like that, laughing and giggling and things. But still, it was important, and it should definitely be in schools, in my opinion. But it was totally the opposite of what my parents had been talking about. It was a lot more rational, a lot less, scary and in your face. It was more this is just what it is. We're not going to BS you. Even though we were kids and stuff like that, we had no idea. They were pretty straightforward about it. There was a book. It was called Where Willie Went, and it was all about the journey of a sperm from the testicles into the ovaries and doing their thing to make a baby and stuff like that. But it was largely straightforward. My parents definitely messed it up. I think they were probably nervous. I bet they were nervous about it, actually, when you think about it. I think I would be too a bit.
Because you're the first kid that,
Yeah, you're right. But the school was refreshingly straightforward about it, and I think I really...
You have sex education in Ireland?
In that one class, at the end of primary school, or high school, as you might know it in other countries. So, your turn.
His story is so interesting. Well, here in the Philippines, we didn't really have like yours, we sat on the couch and talking about this kind of stuff. I think I just figured it out together with my friends. And
that sounds a bit dubious. Like, what are you experimenting together?
No, because Philippines is a very conservative country, and we don't really talk about those stuff. The only thing that my parents taught me is that marriage first.
Marriage first.
Yeah.
That would be like a theme with more conservative countries.
Yeah, so you have to get married first. You should find out someone who will, spend your life forever and never to before that, because having a child,
jolting the selfie stick,
having a child in a very early age is kinda, it's a blessing, but it will, your plans in the future will change, so you really have to be careful. That's what they taught us. Like, you really have to be careful, and you should know what you do.
So it was strict. It was kind of...
Yeah, of course.
Was it kind of couched in fear? Like, don't do this. Be afraid,
No. They know... Well, Kuya, if you're gonna watch this in the future, I have an older brother, and they're more kinda, with my brother, because he's older, a year older than me, and he has...
Your parents?
Yeah. He has girlfriends before, which are younger than him, that. Yeah, so they were like, you have to take things slowly, that you should think before doing something. Yeah. So yeah. Me, on the other hand, I'm a very good girl. Agree.
Yes. But like, do you think there's a difference between how it's generally explained to girls and boys?
Yeah, I think so, because we do have different, way of...
Because we were all in the same class when we had the class on it when I was like 12.
We don't... Here in the Philippines, we don't really have the sex education. Our government, like the senators, are like... Yes, the CHED, it's probably the education department thingy. They were like, we should have the sex education here in the Philippines. But, on the other hand, the Catholic school, I think, they don't really want to talk about it. I'm sorry if I'm not really sure about that. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's good to know that it's not like fear. That your parents weren't like, be afraid of this or you'll be punished. They were more like, just be sensible.
Yeah.
Because I think the last thing as a child you want to hear, as a young person you want to hear, is like, oh, don't be an idiot. Don't take things too quickly. I think we all know that at that age. We're all... Our heads are generally screwed on properly. Everybody knows you don't want to wind up pregnant at like 14 or something like that.
Oh, here in the Philippines, it's kind of... that's why my mother... high school, they were really happy because I didn't really have like relationships in high school. And that's the time, usually, that's the usual time when, things got messed up with, a lot of girls get pregnant in high school. Yeah, and in college, I went to a college that our guy in my class, just one guy, and the other guy was just two, but he dropped out, the other guy. So there were only one guy, so I didn't really have a boyfriend in college. Just him. When I'm,
graduating.
Yeah.
So really there's kind of like a balance to be had, isn't there? Because one thing I would have really hated at that age, like start of puberty or whatever, like 13 years old, is being like talked down to,
Yeah.
Because like I think they really need to get the way they deliver the message right.
Exactly.
It can't be patronizing. It can't be like, oh, you're just a little kid, you need to understand this though. And it can't be like, you're doomed if you have sex. It can't be like that either. And it also has to be like a little bit like scientific, like here's the mechanics of it, but also not too, I think, scientific. That kind of turns people off.
With that. Yeah.
I think it's really important to try and strike that balance where it's accessible, it's kind of, it's engaging to the young people and stuff like that, but at the same time it's not totally like alienating, like, you're stupid young kids, you make terrible decisions, just don't do any of these things and you won't mess up your life too badly, I suppose. And yeah, certainly. But it's definitely good to hear that your parents weren't like, all doom and gloom about it. They were just like, just take care.
Yeah. When my parents knew that I have a boyfriend, what she said about me, my father was kinda, that Papa, he's kinda, Mama was like, I trust you. So, yeah. and they know Luke, so they're kind of comfortable about it. Not, I mean, he's a good guy, so
yeah,
I'm talking about
yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, parents should know how to explain those kinds of stuffs to their children, you know, because there are kids like if they're going, they have this, like their parents will give them, as what you said, like
we're really rambling on here, by the way.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. Yeah, but they should talk to their children in a very good way.
Yeah. I think, you know, at our age and even younger again, like much younger again, I think we just want to be trusted, like you said, to be trusted to make the right decisions, because even though we're like young and we're like, you know, crazy and hormonal and stuff like that, we still are capable of understanding like long-term consequences of bad decisions. And nobody needs to, like, you know, handhold you through the whole process of learning about the birds and the bees, because no one's really that stupid, you know? Like, you know what you want, you know what you don't want. I think just taking things slow, trusting yourself, trusting the other person that you're with is really just the only thing you can do, you know? Sex doesn't need to be something to be alarmed about, you know? I think a lot of parents are, though.
There are a lot.
Unnecessarily, I think. Like, there's a lot of information about it, there's a lot of, like, you know, education about it, a lot of good stuff about it out there. And, you know, I guess the fear is that the kid or whatever is going to wind up doing something silly, but at the end of the day, I think more often than not, it doesn't happen, because everybody's so aware of the consequences and stuff like that, so,
Yeah, and today's generation is very curious. Like, a lot of children, students are very curious.
Yeah. Okay, so, do you want to wrap it up here?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's wrap it up here.
That's all.
That's the video, guys. Hope you had a reasonably good time. Thoughts? Anything you want to say?
If you want to ask something, just comment below.
Yeah, comment. Do your thing. Say whatever you want to say. And as always, take care.